wanted to show you guys the inside of the new EMERBU SLR. So the SLR model that EMERBU Toys is selling at emerbutoys.com or on Amazon is the same as the Bohan SLR, except they've got that upgraded to the metal gears, you know, the upgraded spring, upgraded barrel, motor, everything kind of has been upgraded. But I opened one up here so I could show it to you. Now, I didn't do this all on camera, but I'm certainly going to talk through what you do to open it up. It is kind of a bit of a process, so I didn't think it'd be really fun to watch. But anyway, you can start with the handle if you want. You remove these two screws at the bottom of the handle, right? And when you do that, you'll get access to the motor. And then you can go ahead and disconnect the motor. You'll have to disconnect these little connections, right? And then slide the motor out. So here gives you a look at the motor, right? So this is that upgraded 480 motor. Obviously, you can see the metal pinion. Okay, and then once you get that motor out, you look in here, okay? There's those 4 holes at the bottom around the big hole. Obviously, that's where the pinion goes through, but then the little tiny holes where there's 2 on each side, that is for these little screws. And those little screws actually anchor it into the gearbox. So take the 2 screws out here, you pull the motor out, you take the 4 screws out of the bottom of here, and then this slides off, and that's how you get that part off, okay? Now, to remove when you're working on the top of the receiver, take the handguard off, unscrew here, and that's just gonna pop out that outer barrel, okay? So you can get that off right there like that. To get the handguard off, there's gonna be this pin that goes through here, right? And it goes right through there. And then all you're going to do is use an Allen wrench to unscrew the one side of it. And then you can take that and just kind of slide it off. You will kind of bump into the top of this, so you may have to kind of move it around a little bit to slide the top of the receiver off. Now we get to the bottom of the receiver, a little more complicated. So there's a couple things going on here. You do have one big, this is just a pin that pushes through. So you're just going to have to push it through the small side. Just use like a screwdriver or something, push it all the way through. It should pop out. Here is where we had the actual selector. Okay. So you're going to unscrew that. The screw's right there. You're going to unscrew it, take this off. Do not lose this little spring with the black piece. That goes right in here on your selector. And when you screw it back in, it needs to be there for it to select properly. Okay, remove unscrew here to pull this off, your mag release, and then this piece will fly out that side. This is actually through here, and then there's a small pin again. So you're going to need to push that pin out so you can remove that and get that out. And then lastly, there's another pin that goes through right here that goes all the way through the gearbox. And again, you're just going to need to use something to push that all the way through, like a punch or a screwdriver. Lots of different things you can use to get it open. Now, getting the gearbox out of here is not super easy either. Before you take the selector off, put it into safety, and then take that off. And then typically this is in the right position. So this piece, when you're trying to take it off, this piece is going to kind of be stuck here. Okay. And so that's not going to let the gearbox won't want to come out because this is still catching here. So you got to get it just in the right way to be able to pop it out. And it can get a little frustrating, and putting this back in can get a little frustrating to try to get it to line up. So just try to be patient. All right. You can see the metal barrel here, right? Nothing too exciting with that, but I showed you the motor. Obviously, here's your spring, which is a 1.2 spring. All right. And that just pops out the same as all of these do. It's going to be hard to see here, but there's definitely metal gears in there. So got your metal gears in there. All right. And then there's so that just shows you the V2 gearbox, right? So I just thought I'd quick show that to you. I'm just going to be doing a spring upgrade because I don't see a lot of other things that are necessary to upgrade. And I'll be honest, opening the V2 gearboxes, opening them's fine. But when you're putting everything back together, these are a lot tighter and more confined than a Gen 8 or 8.5. Getting everything back in there, put back together can be frustrating. So this is already frustrating enough sometimes to put back in there. That's just not something I'm looking to do. I'm just going to do a spring upgrade. But that way you got to see a breakdown, the whole insides of the EMERBU SLR, EMERBU Toys, emerbutoys.com. Remember, Amazon's being really weird about where it's allowing these to ship. So if you just go to emerbutoys.com, then you can get it shipped to you in a couple days, no problem, from the US as well. Comments, questions, post them below. Of course, like, subscribe, share my channel with your friends, and participate in those monthly giveaways.